some of the things in alphabetical order. Baked goods, one of the things that we do. Cupcakes, cookies, brownies. A lot of the things, it's really just something that if you're already having a market, maybe not everybody's interested in meat or vegetables or whatever else. So it's just something to attract a few more customers, get them in there, and then maybe once they're there, they can see what else you have, and maybe you can talk them into buying some of your vegetables or meat. Cut flowers. For me, I love the beauty on the farm. It adds a little bit to it that's not as much work. It's not something I have to baby so much, but it's also something that you can, run out, cut a few, throw in a vase, and bring into the market. Somebody might offer to buy them. If not, they're pretty. Herbs. So for me, if you're already growing something, whether it's vegetables, whatever it is, if you're growing, you might as well put in the other plants that people want. So when I grow vegetables, I have chefs and other people ask me about herbs. For a while, I did not do herbs. We're gonna start growing herbs now, just for the extra sales. You may not do a lot with it, but you're gonna attract a few more people. Like I said, they'll end up buying something else from you. Microgreens and fodder. So two totally different things there. Microgreens, for me, it's not something we do consistent. It's not an extreme moneymaker, but it's something we like to do more like in the winter. So when vegetables slow down and some of the other things that we do are not as productive, then we flip to microgreens and fodder. So fodder is really good for animals. A lot of people like to use it, juice for themselves, basically like wheatgrass, which in my opinion, it's a lot better to be used for as fodder to feed your animals, especially through the winter. Price of bagged feed has gone up so much and the quality is so poor, it just doesn't make sense to purchase trash feed when you can grow it yourself for a fraction of the cost. So wheatgrass, barley, a lot of that stuff, you can just look into microgreens and fodder, the seeds, extremely cheap. So, and those can be grown soilless or on soil, so several different methods. Just kind of look into that and figure out how you want to do it. But if you're dealing with restaurants, you're already selling a product, vegetables, and whatever else it is, then it's just one more thing that you can add to the list to offer. And mushrooms. So mushrooms is something that I did quite a few years ago, and it was a bit ahead of the time. Getting back into it now, Oklahoma's catching up to the rest of the nation actually, with a lot of things. The vegetables, local, organic, heirloom, everything. It's just, we're finally getting there. And so mushrooms is one more kind of side project that you can do. It doesn't take a lot of time, doesn't take a lot of room. So once again, that's kind of a winter project. So when we don't have as much going on in the fields or outdoors, we can, in a closet, in the corner of a room somewhere, it doesn't take up a lot of space. A few different varieties of mushrooms, and once again, the chefs love it. Farmers markets is getting more and more popular, so just one more thing that you can have on your table to attract customers. Poultry. When I started out, I felt like I needed to just encompass everything. I mean, just animals, vegetables, you name it, I was trying it all. And it just got to be too much. The cost of feed and seed and the time, it was just too much. So for the past few years, we've actually gone away from animals, and so I could just focus on the vegetable farming, growing the farm, expanding, and doing a better job at it. Whatever it is you decide to do, focus on that one thing, get it figured out. Once you have it really figured out and you can make money doing it, then I would recommend moving on to something else. So with the poultry, if you're gonna be raising chickens or ducks, quail, whatever it is, whether it's for yourself, for the eggs or the meat, the secondary product will be the other, whichever it is, eggs or meat. So if you're raising for eggs, if you get straight run with your chickens, your birds, well, or the ducks as well, but so if you're only wanting eggs, then you're not gonna need your meat birds. Rather than just give them away or whatever it is, you can process them and start selling meat or save it for yourself. Same thing with the eggs. If you're raising the birds for yourself, you may as well just sell extra eggs. Processed goods. So this one is, for me, new. It's something that my wife Emily has been dabbling in. We've actually just started with some of this stuff the past few years just because it kind of keeps the farm going. So during slow times, or even when you're busy, if you've got excess, you grow too many cucumbers, what do you do with them? Well, you can either compost them or you can pickle them, Yeah, just any of those excess items. Tomatoes, something that's not pretty enough to sell, I would suggest making salsa. And that value added, that could be for yourself as well. I mean, you don't have to sell it and make a profit off of it. Anything that you're keeping for yourself and not having to spend money on is value added to yourself. So seed saving. Seed saving is one of my favorite things to do on the farm, and it saves us a fortune. Seeds, good seeds are not cheap. You'd be amazed at how many seeds will come out of one single fruit. I mean, a tomato, what I like to do, I purchase the seeds for the varieties that I want on my farm, and then so new stock comes in, my new seeds, I grow those. Say tomato, take one fruit, slice it in half, squeeze the seeds into mason jars, fill them with water, give it about a week, stirring them, pour those out, dry them. You've got hundreds of seeds, and it didn't cost you anything. Seed packets, for the really good varieties that we like to use, I mean, you get anywhere from 30 to 50 seeds in it, and they could range anywhere from $3 to $5 to $10. And plus shipping. Yeah, and shipping, yeah. So saving seeds is extremely valuable to us, should be to everyone. You can save from just about anything. What I like to save the most, it really does really good. Tomatoes, squash, zucchini, cucumbers, peppers, really just about anything, but the proper, cleaning them and storing them is going to be the best bet for getting good germination the next season. For us, depending on your size, you're going to be, if you're starting seeds yourself, you're probably going to have more space to start, more than you need anyway, so might as well sell extras. As we've grown, starting out, I did not have very much space, and I was using, like 288 seed trays and starting one row of each of different seeds to try to get a little bit of a start. And as I grew, I was able to have a little bit more space, and now that I have the space that I have, I'm able to start a whole lot more seeds, more than I need, and it's a good business there to sell the extras. Worm castings, yeah, worms and castings. One of my favorite fertilizers. Worms are extremely good on the farm, so you can either raise them as a side business and make your own compost and sell the worms, use them on the farm. There's several different ways you can raise worms. You can actually raise them in 5-gallon buckets and stack them in the corner of a room somewhere. It doesn't take up a lot of room, no smell. So the good thing about worm castings is they don't burn. It's good for seedlings. You can water anything. So yeah, they don't have a high nitrogen. Yeah, you don't have to worry about burning your plants. You can water with them, make compost like a casting tea, or just side dress with it. Some of the best fertilizer you can use.